of diode. Then we are having this rectifiers is one application, and we are having regulator, we are having LEDs, we are having photocoupler. This is the different application which we are going to study in this particular chapter. So in this, first thing is PN junction. So before going on to the PN junction, so we should know some basic things. So we are having charge carriers. So charge carriers are electrons and holes. So see, you might be already clear with this, but if someone is not clear about this, see, electrons and holes are not the charges, they are charge carriers. It is just like a vehicle which is going to carry some parcel. So that parcel is energy here, that vehicle is electron or hole here. So if the electrons are the one which is going to carry the negative charge, and holes are those which are going to carry the positive charge. That's why we tell electrons are negatively charged particles, holes are positively charged particles. So always electrons indicate negative charge, holes indicate positive charge. And next thing is, when it comes to electron, only the electrons are mobile charge carriers. When you take a semiconductor device, electrons are the only mobile charge carriers. That means they have movement. Holes are immobile charge carriers. Immobile charge carriers. So you might ask me, so you are telling they are charge carriers, positive charge carriers, but you are telling immobile. When they are not moving, how they can carry the charge? That I'll tell you when we are discussing about PN junction. Just remember, this is mobile. That means it has movement. Holes, they are immobile. They cannot move. So basically, when you take a material, they are classified into three types. As you know, it is conductor, insulator, semiconductor. So they wanted, initially there was only two classification, that was a conductor as well as insulator, but they wanted a material which should be working in both the ways. That means sometimes we want to use that particular material to work as a conductor, sometimes we want to use that material as a insulator. So that's why the semiconductor came into picture. So semiconductors are not naturally available. This has to be done by doping. So by doping the insulators with impurities, we can get this semiconductors. Semiconductors, that means semi. It is working as well as insulator as well as conductors. So based upon biasing, how you are going to connect the power supply, based upon that, the devices which are made up of semiconductors will work as insulator or conductors. Okay, now, so P means it is P layer, N means N layer. So P, as in just general way, positive layer, negative layer. So P layer is having majority charge carriers as holes, and N layer will have majority charge carriers as electrons. When you are going to sandwich this P and N layers together, then a junction is formed which is known as PN junction. So we'll take one P layer, this is P, and we take one N layer. So when you are going to sandwich them, so during that time, a junction which is formed between this P and N layer is known as PN junction. To this PN junction, see, only this PN junction itself is not a diode now. As of now, it is still not a diode. when you are going to connect some metallic threads, in it might be copper or any other metallic threads. Now it became a diode. So it is a diode is a two terminal device which has two terminals. One terminal is known as anode, which is towards the p layer, and another terminal is known as cathode, which is towards the n layer. So this is positive terminal, this is the negative terminal, and the junction which is formed is known as pn junction. That's why we call pn junction diode. The diode which is formed by using the PN junction concept is PN junction diode. Now, after this, as I told, we will be having majority charge carriers as holes. So these are the majority charge carriers, the electrons, the positive charges holes. So we indicate in this way, and we'll have the electrons. So we can indicate it in the dark, the dots like this. So now what happens is, see, the holes is a positive charge carrier and electron is a negative charge carrier. When they are near to each other, when they are very close to each other, during that time, even though you are not providing any external force, they combine. So they combine, and now what happens is, this electrons shifts here. So now this hole becomes electron, and this at this particular place where the electron change its place, no, that particular vacancy becomes the hole now. So when an electron leave its position or a space where it was occupied, then the vacancy which is created is known as hole. The vacancy which was known as hole, which is being occupied by an electron, during that time, when the vacancy is filled, that becomes an electron. I repeat it again. When an electron leave its space and jumps to the hole position, during that time, the vacancy which is created by electron becomes the hole, and the vacancy which was occupied by electron becomes the electron. Okay. See, now from this, can anyone tell me whether in this case hole has moved or electron has moved? Whether the hole which was present here, that has shifted here, or the hole has shifted, so the electron has shifted here.
Electrons.
Electron.
Right? Electron has moved. That's why I was telling electron is mobile. But hole has not moved, but it is just the exchange of place. But when you look in, it looks like hole is moving, but actually hole has not moved. It is just changing its position because of the movement of electrons. So let us take an example, because this is very basic concept you should understand. Let us take your classroom. We have the classroom. This is a teacher who is going to act like your external force. So let us see, these are all the benches we are having, and okay. So this dark, the dots, what I'm marking, these are all the students in the class. Okay. So in a class, on looking to this, we are having 12 seats. Among 12 seats, 10 seats are occupied. 2 seats are vacant. So what this teacher is going to do is, he is going to call this person to come and sit here. During that time, what happens? This person is going to come out of the seat and he is going to occupy this position. So now this seat is occupied and the seat is vacant at this particular place. Now tell me whether the seat has moved or the person has moved.
Person, sir.
Person, right?
Person.
So seat has not moved. So here it is an analogy what I'm trying to give you to for the better understanding. Seats are your poles. Students are electrons. So students, they can move here and there wherever they want based upon the force. Seats, they cannot move. Only when the students are exchanging their places and the seat is vacant, then only, obviously, then we think that so that particular seat is vacant. So you know that it's a normal scenario. What we see in front benches will be empty, back benches will be occupied. So a teacher will come and he'll ask the last bench students to come and sit in the front bench and occupy the front seats. So here also, as I was telling in this diode, I'll be connecting a battery which is going to act as an external force for the movement of this charges. The same way here, the faculty is the force who is going to who is going to act as a force for the students to change their position. Just a minute. Hello. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾಳೆ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಸರ್ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ 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 ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಗಂಟೆ ತನಕ ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದೆ. ಹಾ ಸರಿ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. So here the faculty or a teacher is acting like a force who is going to make the students to change their position. In the same way here, we are going to add some external supply battery for the forcing these charges to move on in these layers. Now, so this is about the electrons and holes, their mobility and all. Whenever an hole is being occupied, see, okay, let me take one more example. This electron is there. Now it is going to shift here because you know that positive and negative charges attract. So when they are very near, they will attract and there will be flow of the charge. See, which the charges which are positive and negative charges which are very close, only they will combine, not all. So the electrons and holes which are near this junction, only those electrons and holes will be combining. Not this hole and this electron cannot combine because they don't have that much of attraction because of the distance between them. So now, when this electron shifts here, this becomes electron and this becomes hole. Now, this process of movement and movement of charges, we call it as ionization process. And now the vacancy which was there, it accepted an electron. The vacancy which was present previously here, it accepted an electron, so it became acceptor ion, right? It occupied, the electron came and occupied this position, and this position is accepting that electron. That's why it is known as acceptor ion. This position where previously electron was there, now a vacancy is created. That means from this position an electron is lost. We can tell it as lost, or we can tell it as donated, right? So an electron was given out. So this becomes the donor ions. Okay, when an electron is lost or donated, it becomes donor ion. when an electron is accepted, it becomes acceptor ion. Okay, this is the other way. So acceptor ions are indicated by this symbol and donor ions are indicated by this symbol. So wherever, if you are going to mention it like this, that means this portion has lost one electron, and because of that losing of that electron, it has become whole. So that is known as donor ion. Here, if I mark it as minus, that indicates that previously there was hole. Now, because of the acceptance of the electron, it has occupied the vacancy. So this ion, this one is called as acceptor ion. Okay, so this is about the electrons and holes, which are the important parameters in the p-n junction diode. After this, so the next few more concepts, some concepts are there. As I was telling, p and n junction, and I was telling this is a junction which is formed because of that exchange of electrons and holes across this junction. See, once this the electrons comes and occupies here, that means here you'll be having holes only. Only near the junction, the electrons have moved out from n layer. Here you'll be having holes. Because of this exchange or movement of this electrons and holes, this junction, whatever we are having, this junction becomes the depletion region. This becomes a depletion region, and it stops the movement of the other electrons. You might think, okay, next these electrons can move. It cannot move because of this exchange of this electrons and holes near the junction, they are going to form a thick layer. So that thick layer junction, which is known as depletion region, is going to avoid the further movement of charges across the junction. Okay, so this is how a depletion layer is created. So because, okay, now can you tell me one thing? I'm telling this junction is opposing. This junction is opposing. In electronics, what you call the parameter which opposes the flow of charges?
Insulator.
Insulator. Okay, one more.
Resistance.
Yes, resistance. See, in resistance, so it is not completely avoiding, it is opposing it. It is not completely avoiding. If you are telling it is insulator, it is completely avoiding it. But here, this junction is offering some amount of resistance for the flow of charges. If your charge is capable of overcoming this opposition, the charge can easily flow. But the charges doesn't have enough force to overcome this opposition. That's why they got stagnant across this junction. There is no further movement. But when you are going to give the power supply, that power supply act as an external force, and they will give some additional energy to these charges so that the electron starts overcoming this opposition. Now we have a resistance, and I have told you the electrons and holes which are very near to this junction, they got exchanged. That means there is small amount of movement of charges across this. What you call the movement of charge in electronics as?
Current.
Yes, current. Right? So from this we understood that we have a resistance, we have a flow of small amount of charges across this resistance. What does this resistance and current gives? Product
Voltage.
of yes,
Voltage.
voltage, right? So because of this voltage which is produced because of resistance and the current, we will have a potential barrier. We call it as potential barrier. Some of you might have already learnt. See, silicon diode will be having 0.7 volt drop across junction. The same way, if you are using germanium diode, it will be offering 0.3 volt. So this 0.3 or 0.7 is the voltage which is across this particular junction. You can just simply take a diode and use a multimeter. Multimeter is a device where you can measure voltage, current, resistance, capacitance, everything. So you connect that multimeter across this P and N, you can observe it will be displaying you 0.7 volt. Without connecting any external supply, any power supply, this silicon diode will be showing 0.7 voltage across the two layers. What is that 0.7? That 0.7 is the voltage, the potential across this particular junction. So if you want the current to flow across this junction, then your charges should oppose or it should overcome this potential barrier. That is where we are going to connect a battery, and when your battery voltage is greater than 0.7, then only the charges will easily flow through this junction. Otherwise, the charges will not flow. You are having point. Let us take this example only. We are having a silicon diode, and I told you this junction is going to offer 0.7 volt, and you are connecting a battery. Okay, I'm going to connect a battery, and I'm going to keep 0.2 volt in the battery. So now tell me whether the battery voltage is greater or the junction voltage is greater. Who is dominating among these two?
Junction.
Junction.
Junction is dominating, right? So this battery, whatever the current
Junction,
it is
sir.
trying to give, that current cannot flow through this junction because 0.7 voltage is offered by this junction, which is greater than this. But if you make it as 0.8, now this battery voltage is greater than the junction voltage, such that the current flow will be in this direction and current can enter to the PN junction. So this is how we can overcome this potential barrier. Okay, so we understood that how this 0.7 volt is obtained across the junction. It is because of, see, first of all, junction means resistance. In normal things also, junction means what? Something which is going to oppose. A traffic junction, it is one which is going to which is an obstacle for your speed, right? When you come near the junction, you'll slow down. If you have a traffic light, you have to stop, right? A junction is the one which is going to oppose the flow. So junction offers obviously resistance. Across this, some charges which are very near to the junction are flowing. Flow of charge is known as current. So product of current and resistance develops a voltage across this junction. That voltage is known as potential barrier. So that potential barrier will be 0.7 for silicon, 0.3 for germanium. So these are the basic things which we are going to which we should know. I was telling that PN junction is going to offer 0.7 volt and germanium diode is going to offer 0.3 volt. Now let us go for one more analogy. We are having P and we are having N. I told you P layer is what type of charged layer, or what type of charges it has?
Holes.
Holes, right? Positive, this is negative, and this is a gap. Now I'll take one battery. So in the battery, what does this longer line indicate?
Positive, sir.
Positive, this is negative. See, just compare these two. This is positive terminal. Here also we have positive terminal. This is negative terminal. This is also negative terminal. So can we analyze that PN junction is also acting like a battery? Is it? See, positive plate, positive, negative, negative. And it is also giving 0.7 volt. So PN junction is going to act like 0.7 volt battery. That's why I told you just take a diode and just connect it to a voltmeter. You can observe 0.7 volt constant without connecting any power supply. That means it is acting like a battery also. That means it doesn't mean that you can take this diode and you can charge something. You cannot do that. It is one of the characteristic of the diode. 0.7 volt, which is existing across the potential barrier, makes this characteristics. So PN junction, see, PN junction diode has in later topics we'll discuss that in detail. It has characteristics as a battery of 0.7, 0.3 volt based upon type of material used. Next, it has a capacitor in it. It will behave like a capacitor. We'll discuss later. We're having diffusion and depletion type of capacitors. Third one, it has a resistance in it. We'll be having two types of resistance, dynamic resistance and static resistance. In the next topic, we'll discuss that. So these are all the inherent characteristics of the PN junction. These are all present inside it. They are part of it. Okay. Now, after this, next we'll study the PN junction biasing. This is very, very, very important. More than 90% of chances you have to get, you'll be getting this question. Almost usually this question will be there. And it is open secret, this question will be there for internal. Pakka, you'll be having this question. Biasing, explain the working of PN junction biasing. So how you are going to bias PN junction. So there are three conditions we need to discuss. First condition is under no bias condition. Second condition is forward bias condition. Third one is reverse bias condition. So before going on to these three conditions, let us understand what is biasing. Biasing means what? Connecting an external power supply to a device is known as biasing. Biasing is not only for PN junction or it is not only for diode. If you connect a transistor, it becomes transistor biasing. If you connect any other device, it becomes that particular device biasing. So biasing means connecting an external power supply to the device is known as biasing. So in explaining the working of PN junction diode, we need to explain these three things: no bias condition, forward bias condition, reverse bias condition. First thing is no bias condition. So for no bias condition, no bias means, as the name itself tells, no bias. That means you are not connected any battery. When you have not connected any battery, so what will happen during that time? That is what we are going to see. So PN. So we are having. So I am not connecting any battery. It is open. So here we'll be having some metallic contacts on the either ends, because the semiconductor material is very we can tell it is not that much hard, so we cannot access it, because in order to connect this diode to electronic circuitry, what we need to do is we need to connect it through a wire or you need to solder it and all. But if you connect the wire to this, it will not connect the semiconductor material easily. That's why what they'll do is they will seal this with some plastic material or some steel material, and they'll insert two metallic contacts on the either ends. From that, they'll take out two wires. So that two wires will be the connecting wires for the diode. This is how it will happen. So in the middle, we know that there is a junction, and that junction has been it has been expanded, and it is going to have the potential barrier across this, and that potential barrier is going to act as an opposition for the flow of charges. So under no bias condition, whenever you are having holes here and whenever you are having electrons here, we are having electrons here. So here under no bias condition, when you are not connecting any power supply, during that time, the electrons and holes which are very near, that means they are very close to the junction, they are going to exchange their position, or they are going to combine. The rest of the charge carriers will be there in their place only. They cannot move. Because of this movement and because of that ionization process, whatever I told, the electron comes over here and a vacancy is created, and this becomes a donor ion and this becomes an acceptor ion. Because of this ionization process and because of becoming acceptor ion, donor ions, they are going to create a barrier. After that, there will be no movement. So because of that, the depletion layer the depletion junction or depletion region will expand. Okay, so in this unbiased condition or no bias condition, we need to explain we have not connected any external power supply to this, and electrons and holes which are very near to the junction, they are going to combine, and because of this combination, a potential barrier is existing across the junction. It will be 0.3 volt for germanium and 0.7 volt for silicon. This potential barrier is against the flow of holes from P side across the junction, and again it is opposition for the flow of electrons from N side to P side. This is what we are going to tell. After this, the next one is forward bias. So in forward bias, what happens is we are going to connect. See, we know that this is positive, this is negative. That means this is anode, this is cathode. Positive is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and negative is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Positive to positive, negative to negative. This connection, what we have done, this creates forward bias. Okay, and the normal conventional direction is from positive to negative. So conventional direction, we assume that the current flows from positive to the negative terminal. But actually, what is happening here? The electrons are flowing in opposite direction, right? Electrons are flowing from N layer to P layer. Now in forward bias, whatever we are studying here, when electrons, when positive terminal is connected to the P layer and negative terminal is connected to the N layer, just look in, positive is connected to the positive layer where you are having holes. What happens for positive charges? If you are trying to attract them, what will happen?
They'll repel.
They will repel, right? So when
Repel, sir.
yes, when you are going to connect this positive terminal to the P layer, these holes which are here, they get repelled. In the same way, here we are having negative voltage at the negative terminal where it is connected to the N layer, which is having electrons. So even electrons are negative charge carriers. So these electrons, they also get repelled. When you keep on increasing this voltage of the battery, this electron starts repelling and they start moving. So when you increase this voltage more and more, the movement or the mobility of the electrons will increase. So what happens when mobility increases? These electrons can overcome this potential barrier and they start moving. This electron comes over here, this becomes electron, this becomes an hole. Next, what happens? Since the repulsion is there from this side, this electron shifts here. After that, this becomes an electron, and again, during that time, this becomes a hole. Then again, when you are applying, because the voltage is continuously applied, so this electron shifts here, this becomes an electron, this becomes an hole, and again this shifts here, this becomes an electron, this becomes an hole. See, you just see to this, we are having holes which are moving in this direction, they are moving in this direction, electrons are moving in this direction. I told moving. Is that moving correct? The word correct? The holes are moving, I told. Is that word correct for holes?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Because
No, sir.
holes, only electrons are moving. So we tell holes are shifting. But when you look into this, it will look like they are moving, but they are not moving. They are just exchanging their position because of the electrons. So you can make this as a video and you can look in. So it looks like the holes are moving this side and electrons are moving this side. But only electrons are moving. Because of the shifting of the electrons, we can observe that the holes are getting concentrated across the cathode. So after some time, what happens across in the N layer? After some
Will
time,
be filled with holes.
yeah. So after some time, if I am going to look into this, the P layer will be filled with electrons and N layer will be filled with holes. Because electrons has left the N layer, from P layer, the holes got shifted towards the negative, towards the N layer. So conventional direction is from positive to negative, but electrons are flowing from N layer to P layer. So they are always opposite to the conventional direction. This is the direction we show. This is the direction we use for mathematical analysis, but actually the direction will be in opposite way. This is the forward bias thing. So what are the points?
Sir, what about the depletion region, sir?
Yeah, so depletion region, as these electrons and holes, because of this easy flow of electrons and holes, the depletion layer starts reducing. When more and more voltage is applied over here, the depletion region will starts becoming, and it becomes narrow. Okay, the depletion region becomes narrow, and if again it doesn't mean that if you can keep on increasing this voltage to whatever extent you can. It is not like that. If you keep on increasing the voltage, because of the high flow of current, heat dissipation starts. For every diode, there is some limitation. You can operate only till that level. So based on that only, we are having three types of diode: low current diodes, medium current diodes, high current diodes. These are the three types we are having. Based upon the application and your level, you can increase. See, for example, the low current diodes, they can withstand maximum 100 milliamperes of current and around voltage of 75. But when it comes to medium current, they can operate till 200 volt. When it comes to high current diode, they can operate with several hundred volts, which are used in higher power systems. So here, what are the points will be mentioned here is the first one, forward biasing. In the forward biasing, the P layer is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and N layer is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. After this, when the input voltage is greater than the potential barrier voltage, which is 0.7 for silicon diode, 0.3 for germanium diode. So what is this silicon and germanium? These are all the materials which are semiconductor materials which are used to make P layer and N layer. Okay. So then by using same silicon, by using same germanium, how do we do P layer and N layer? If you are adding impurity, if you are adding the impurity with which is going to increase the holes in the germanium or silicon material, that becomes a P layer. In the same way, if you are doping or adding impurity with respect to the electrons, then it becomes the N layer. So with the same silicon and germanium, which is pentavalent and trivalent impurity, I think you have already gone through all this basic things in your 11th and 12th. So I'm not going into that again. So by adding pentavalent and trivalent impurities, we can make one layer as P layer and other layer as N layer. Okay. So, but the entire material is silicon or germanium. It is not only silicon and germanium. We are having many other materials like gallium arsenide phosphide, like that. We are having different material, but for a simple diode, we'll use either silicon or germanium because silicon, you know that it is very cheap. So we go for silicon for small application. But when you want application like you want to emit light like LED and all, for LED and all, you cannot use silicon because silicon doesn't have light emitting capability. So then we have to go for gallium arsenide phosphide, gallium arsenide, gallium arsenide phosphide, or only gallium. By using those material, we can emit the light. Okay, that we'll discuss in later topics, how it is going to emit light and what makes it to light emit. So now coming to this. So when input voltage is greater than the barrier voltage, during that time, the depletion region starts decreasing. Because of that, the electrons and holes starts flowing across the junction. When more and more voltage is applied from the battery, the depletion layer becomes narrow and there will be easy flow of charges. This is been represented by the VI characteristics. See, whenever they ask you to explain the working, this is must you should have. So VI characteristics, this is IF, that is forward current. This is the forward bias voltage, what you are applying here. This is forward bias voltage. So 0.3, let us take 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. So this will be in terms of milli, 50, 60, 70, 80. So it will be in terms of milliamperes. So if I take an example of germanium, okay, let us assume that this is germanium. When this is germanium, and you know what is the voltage across this for a germanium? For germanium, what is the voltage across the junction?
0.3.
0.3, sir.
Yeah, 0.3. So now assume that this is 0.2. That means Vf is what? This voltage. I have kept 0.2. So now what happens? Does the current flows through this?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So
No, sir.
it will be 0 only. Now I'm making it to 0.3. So at 0.3 what happens? Even at 0.3 it will tries to flow. Now at after 0.3 what happens? When it is greater than, when Vf is greater than 0.3, now the current will be allowed to flow through this.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
slowly the current will increase. So with respect to the voltage what you are applying, the current will slowly start increasing. This is the VI characteristics curve for germanium diode. This is known as the cut-in voltage. Cut-in voltage, or it is known as drop-in voltage. Also it is known as potential barrier. It is also known as knee voltage. See, these are the different names for this voltage which is existing across the junction. So 0.3 is the cut-in voltage. When your battery voltage becomes greater than this cut-in, drop-in, or potential or knee voltage, then only the current starts flowing. Similarly, let us assume that this is silicon diode. Now what happens? I am now giving 0.3. At this particular point, I have kept my battery. What will happen to the current? How much current you will be getting?
It won't pass. It won't pass, sir.
It won't pass. That means it will be 0. Now I'll go to 0.4.
0.
0. I'll go to 0.5. 0.
0.
0.6. 0. 0.7. It will start conducting. This is for silicon diode. This is the VI characteristics curve for the silicon. So till that voltage, the diode will not allow the current to pass through it. Okay, this is the forward characteristics of the diode. So these two figures you have to write, and you have to explain the points whatever I have explained. Okay, so after this, the next one we are having is reverse bias. So that will cover up in the next class. Yes, Shripad, you can turn off the record. So if you have any doubts in this, you can ask me.